Hello everyone. Before this Pandaren update begins, I have to break some terrible news. News that just couldn't wait until after the intro or, stuff like that. And that terrible news is Exe Files has been cancelled. This is something that shouldn't have happened. It's not the news I wanted to deliver, and I'm kind of mad at myself, but also disappointed in the fact that Exe Files just cannot premiere in its current state, and probably not for a very long time. More information is going to come as to why Exe Files has been cancelled a little bit later on in this Pandaren update, so stay tuned and stay watching this episode so you can understand as to just why the show got cancelled. Because this is not the video that should have went out this month. This video was supposed to go out actually a few weeks later in the future, not today, but a lot of stuff's happened in the last 3 months, and because of it, Exe Files has now been lost to time. But anyway, before I start making a rant, I'm going to go ahead and let this Pandaren update start. So sit back and enjoy this episode, and let's hope we don't get some tears. Hello everyone, and welcome to Pandaren Update. Number 5. Bet you didn't see that one coming, even though you kind of did, even though you didn't. Who knows, you're a stalker? Yep, okay. In this crazy AF episode, we'll be going over all of the content that you can expect from Minecraft over the course of the next 3 months, as well as the cancellation of Exe Files, and why the show got cancelled in the first place, and the show's future upon its cancellation. We'll also be reminding about some social media reminders, things like comments and Twitter and stuff like that, and announcing a brand new mini-series that's going to be taking place over the course of the next 3 months, as well as also going over the schedule for the next 3 months, since, a lot has happened with the schedule. We have a lot to talk about today, so without further ado, let's go ahead and grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola. And let's just get right into it. To begin this Pandaren update, we're not going to begin with Exe Files. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's just go ahead and start with what's currently airing. And for that, let's start with Minecraft. As of right now, Minecraft content over the last 3 months has been doing tremendously well. A lot of good videos have come out in the last 3 months, and I definitely want to make a lot more of them. However, we're coming into the last quarter and fourth quarter of 2020, so there's not a lot of content left for Minecraft until content comes to its close in early December, due to just how December works on this channel. So, therefore, this particular segment is just going to be devoted to explaining what Minecraft's going to be like over the course of the next 3 months, coming to the beginning of December. As of right now, there's not a lot of Minecraft videos left, at least in the way Minecraft premieres. As of right now, until the end of when Minecraft stops running on this channel, which is planned to be Monday, December 7th, and December 7th being when the last Minecraft video of the year is going to go out, and after that, of course, let's talk after the show. But the videos you'll be seeing between now and December 7th include 3 different unique challenge videos, 7 different building tutorials, and 4 different minigame videos, with the newest minigame video premiering sometime next week, so, be look on that. It does mean that there's not a lot of Minecraft content left, but don't worry, Minecraft content, nothing much is changing as far as, any, mysterious schedule changes in this Pandaren update. Nothing, weird, 25 Ways to Die is coming in or anything like that. It's just, here's the list, here's the videos you can expect for the remainder of the year until December 7th, for when Minecraft as a whole stops premiering for the remainder of the year, and basically goes on hiatus, I would say. As mentioned, the actual end date's going to be December 7th, so, there's still a pretty good amount of ways there. And as mentioned as well, there'll be less talk after the show, going over Minecraft's entire development cycle. Now, unlike, other Let's Talk after the shows, like take Mod Gear or the Universal 5, for example, where we explain how Mod Gear or the Universal 5 actually came to be, their development process and the episode development, with Minecraft, it's going to be a little bit different, but relatively the same. Because, I can't really explain why Minecraft got developed in the first place, because then that'd feel kind of weird. So for the most part, Let's Talk After the Show in December is probably going to be more based on just the episode development, my favorite episodes, and discussing why Minecraft content came back in the first place, baseline. And, due to the fact of Exe Files cancellation, which we will get to here in just a few moments, that does mean that Minecraft, for the remainder of 2020, is basically going to be this channel's lead. It's the content that's going to be going out the most of the most, game. There's going to be more videos going out of Minecraft than any other video on this channel. So just be wary of that, that starting from today, Minecraft is going to be the leading piece of content on this channel, pretty much until the end of the year. And now, I get to probably... Let me just grab the script, hold on. Yep, here it is. Alright. And now I can get to probably one of the more depressing parts of this update video, and that is Exe Files. As mentioned in the intro, Exe Files has been cancelled. And that comes as a shock, and I guarantee a lot of people are questioning. Exe Files, as of right now, is really only 2 days away from its launch. So why is it getting cancelled now? Well, to be completely honest with you, Exe Files actually got cancelled probably about already a month ago. And that's because there's some stuff behind the scenes that just hasn't really been talked about that I want to go ahead and talk about right now. As we all know, if you've seen Pandaren If you've seen Pandaren update from in June, you'll probably know that Exe Files, what is my English, has gone over like 3 different redesigns, mainly just changing up a bunch of core formats of the show and changing the way the show performed and how it was going to launch. I naturally assumed that the 3rd design change was going to be the last change, and that Exe Files would stay relatively the same over the course of the summer development, and the show would launch in a way where it didn't really need any changes apart from really, really tiny ones. Unfortunately, there was a problem, and that's where the 4th redesign came into play. Well, the 4th redesign basically occurred sometime between like mid to late July, well probably not mid to late July, probably just all of July, and probably early August. To put it simply, the 4th redesign basically went over things like, well, I can't get voice actors for things like people like Sans, or Papyrus, or, Asgore, or Flowey. I can't really do that. So because I'm a single player oriented, YouTuber, I have to think about, okay, well, if I don't have voice actors, then how am I going to be able to get voices in for these characters? In the 4th redesign, it was basically designed so that rather than these characters actually having proper voice lines, they would basically be voiced in the same way that Undertale plays them. For example, here I'm just going to play some quick audio for how Sans would talk from Undertale. Here it is. Basically, this is basically how all the characters would speak in Exe Files because of this redesign. A bunch of other stuff was also changed as well to make the story a bit less complicated, the world was a bit more complicated, and the story just felt weird. By the time late July came around, by the time my birthday was coming around, like July 26th, kind of around like the weekend of that, the 4th redesign was coming up to its conclusion. Around that time, I started wondering, is Exe Files in a good state right now to even launch? And I started thinking about what the show originally was at the beginning of this year. What was the show like when it was first designed compared to now? And when you look at them both, you really start to understand just how different the show was from December of last year to now. In fact, it was so different that it didn't even feel like Exe Files anymore. And when you have your own show not feel like it's the show it's supposed to be, that's when you know that the redesigns have just gone way too far. More importantly, the way I wanted to make Exe Files just cannot be done as a solo content creator. It's just something that I need more than one people or like an entire team working with. And so because of that reason, Exe Files just kept getting farther and farther and farther behind in its development, mainly just because of one big thing. Time. I just don't have time. Even now, as you're watching this video, there's not a lot of time. Especially because I'm in my 3rd year in high school, it makes it even harder combining all of those courses. Raid leading in World of Warcraft's also a challenge up there, so you have to combine that in. And all other just real world issues that you have to come in, you have to compile all of that at once. To put it short, Exe Files was redesigned so much that it just was not the show it originally was supposed to be. There was not enough time to develop the show by the time August came around, and by the time August came around, Exe Files had not even had a proper world yet to actually start placing props down. Because there just wasn't enough time during the summer to actually make it. Because during the summer was when I was going hardcore raiding, like mythic raids, man. Like, that stuff ain't, it's not easy, let's put it that way. So, coming into like mid-August, I had to make the executive decision. And this was a decision that really decided as to where Exe Files was going to go. It was either option A. let EXE Files premiere on September 4th as it currently was, but probably make EXE Files go down as probably one of the worst series this channel has ever seen. Because that's just how bad the show had been redesigned, and that's how much it was so far beyond what it was originally supposed to be. I didn't want EXE Files to air in that situation because, truthfully, I'd probably hate it. And it would probably get to a point where I would hate it so bad that I'd probably stop making it midway through because that's how bad it'd be. Option B is what I ended up going with. Because the show had been redesigned so much, and because the show just was nothing like it originally planned, I therefore decided to cancel the show and just do something with it. EXE Files just is not ready for its launch. Even though it had almost over a year's worth of development time, solo content creation, time management, and just the fact that it's just super difficult to do all this combined with everything else in my life, EXE Files just did not have the time it needed to air on time and to get the development it needed. And because of that, that was why this show got canceled about a month ago. About 2 to 4 weeks ago, we'll say. I didn't publicly announce the fact that EXE Files got canceled because if I did, then most likely Pandaren Update would have had to have gone out earlier, or something would have had to happen to explain it. More importantly, I just didn't want to cause confusion. I didn't want people to panic while Universal 5 and Minecraft were enjoying themselves. Personally, the summer kinda was my break, trying to work on EXE Files as best I could and making soft bits of content while enjoying the summer vacation. But my god, man, trying to work on EXE Files was just, it felt like I was literally going through the depths of, like, literal hell and back. Yep, I just cussed on camera. Anyway, so now I have to discuss something that's gonna hurt. Where is EXE Files going now the fact that the show's been canceled? Well, let me tell you now, the show is not premiering anytime during 2020. I'm pretty sure that's obvious, because even if the show had an extra month of development, there's no way we would finish on time. And that's kind of how this last quarter of the year was scheduled, with EXE Files in mind. So you can only imagine how, when I canceled it, that I had to reschedule the entire last 4 months of the year. You know, it wasn't fun. So let me go ahead and explain. Right now, there is basically 3 different scenarios, and I say scenarios in quotes. There's basically 3 scenarios that EXE Files is either going to land into. The 3 scenarios basically just suggest where the show is currently going. The first scenario is what I'm going to call Quick Revive. The way this scenario basically works is EXE Files would just disappear for the remainder of this year, and in December, as you might know from December of 2019, we had trailers premiere, showing off all the new content that was coming out this year. And more information about that for December this year and going into next year will be talked about a little bit later on in this Pandaren update as well as the next one. But the point is, the way Quick Revive worked was that EXE Files would be announced in December, and then come back basically right at the start of the year and just catch up. It would just basically go out 3 months later than it needed to. But even then, I highly doubt that EXE Files could have enough development time, and especially because this first semester of third year in high school, let's face it, it's already pretty rough, and combined with new WoW expansions coming out very soon, it's not going to be a fun time. Let's just put it that way. So therefore, the first scenario has been ruled out of the picture completely because there's just no way that EXE Files can premiere right at the start of the year, especially because, you know, ACT testing is going to be right then. And especially with, you'll see eventually later on in the coming months, there's not a lot going to be premiering during that first 6 months of the year, simply because of school and ACT testing. And that's why scenario 1's been completely ruled out. The second scenario is probably the most likely option for EXE Files, at least in the current moment, and that is basically to put the series on hold, kind of like on a waiting list, and basically hold EXE Files till a time where I have the same amount of time, like a year's worth of time, or like 6 months of time, where I don't have schoolwork, I'm not going crazy with WoW, and I don't have real-world issues that are affecting me, take time back and actually work on the show. Now, this is kind of a weird issue because when it comes to the idea of when I have time, there really is not a lot. If you look at the rest of this year, there's probably no way. And if you look into next year, well, let me go ahead and put it bluntly. As of right now, and you'll probably find out a lot more about this in December and in Pandaren Update in December as well, most of 2021's content has already been pre-planned, and most of the series that are premiering next year have already begun their development already. So therefore, you have to start thinking, EXE Files is probably not going to premiere next year because most of next year is already taken up by pretty much all the series I want to put in, as they already are starting early development. So therefore, what I mean by scenario number 2, which I forgot to tell what the name was, scenario number 2 is actually supposed to be called Revive Awaiting Approval. Shocking, I know. But basically, EXE Files at the soonest could possibly return in 2022. Because 2022, pretty much at the current rate, since I haven't planned that far, 2022 is extremely dry at the current rate, since there's really nothing I can do. That's probably the soonest you could see anything remotely considered EXE Files related. Therefore, basically, EXE Files would just kind of disappear, and it wouldn't really be talked about until there was a time to where I can work on it more. Again, that's a very long time away. Like, eventually, I can guarantee that if Scenario 2 was to go into effect, I guarantee that people would forget about EXE Files because it's been gone for so long. I guarantee that's going to happen, so it's still being considered, but most likely if that was going to happen, then EXE Files are probably postponed and released probably 2 years from now, at the minimum. And honestly, at that point, it makes me wonder if I should consider Scenario 3. Conveniently, this particular scenario is named after one of my personal favorite shows I've seen recently, and this particular scenario is called Dead End. As you could probably already tell by what the name is, Scenario 3, Dead End, basically just signifies that EXE Files would simply just be killed, basically. The Cord would basically pull the plug on the series together, and EXE Files in this state would basically become a parts basket. Like, say for example, you got a parts basket. It's got a bunch of different materials for, like, a chair or a couch or, like, a part of your computer or something. Every once in a while, you go to that part bin, you grab a part, and then over the course of time, eventually, like maybe, I don't know, like a year from now, that parts bin would become empty. There's nothing left. If EXE Files entered its dead end kind of scenario, that's what it would basically become. A parts bin. As other different series that might premiere later on in this channel's life would basically come into EXE Files and take certain parts of the show that were supposed to air and use them for their series. So for example, say, I don't know, like say Mod Gear Season 3, for example, since we confirmed that's already happening in a few months ago, say Mod Gear Season 3 comes into the parts basket for EXE Files and steals something from it and then uses that as part of its series. If that kept happening, EXE Files eventually would get to a point where there's nothing left. The show would just wither away, and the show would basically just disappear off this channel entirely as if it never existed. Right now, in the current scenario list, there's kind of a 50-50 split between Scenario 2, Revive Awaiting Approval, and Scenario 3, Dead End. Part of me just wants to hold EXE Files till a time where I can work on it. 2022 would be the soonest I could work on it, mainly because by the time like May 2022 rolls around, I will probably graduated high school by that point. But then you also have to think, will I go into college or like university around that same time, like just 3 months later? And that's kind of the worrying factor. I don't know when I'm going to have a break. But when I do have a break, when I have like a 4-month break of something, yeah, EXE Files will get worked on, but would it premiere? That's another question. I don't want to kill off EXE Files either, as this is a show I've been wanting to create for a very long time, but when I look at it now, it's wondering, is it really worth that much development? Like, is it really worth to put this much development in for, I hate to say it, but for a channel this small, is it really worth it? It's going to be talked over a little bit over the course of the next couple of months and whatnot, and you'll probably find out a bit more in Pandaren Update in December as to what that decision is, but right now it's a 50-50 split between if EXE Files is going to get postponed for a couple of years, or the show's just going to get the plug pulled basically, and the EXE Files will never happen. It's currently unknown, but we're trying. We are really trying. Let's do that. And I guess, and as the script says here, I guess just one final apology for just the cancellation of EXE Files, as this show has been hyped up for over a year almost now, almost like 10 months. This show has had so much hype, and all the other Pandaren updates have really showed the show coming along and all of its redesigns, but now the fact that, like, I never expected 10 months ago to say, okay, well, I'm going to be canceling the show then. Like, back then I thought, okay, EXE Files is going to premiere, it's going to be great. 10 months ago, if you told me that I was going to be canceling the show, I wouldn't believe you. But this hurts. This really hurts to be canceling a show like this, and it really pains me to say it, man. It really does. But we're gonna move on before actually wait, no, hold on. Wait, before we move on, actually, there is one consideration about Exe Files Cancellation that has come up, and that is to possibly rewrite Exe Files' story into a book. Not like a flippable hardcover book that you find like your local library, say, but maybe like a Word document or something like that. I've considered the idea of making Exe Files' story into like a Word document type book, and then using that as kind of the source material. That's basically what Exe Files' source material is. It's just this giant Word document full of like parts of the story. But if you guys want, and this is up to you guys honestly for the viewers, if you want to see Exe Files transform into like an actual book format, comment down below, just say, hey, we want to see this in a book format, because I don't mind doing it, because I love to write and I love to type stuff, so it doesn't really bother me in the slightest. But just know it probably wouldn't come out until next year though, because again, time management. But that is something we are considering, and I say we, and that's being myself and a few other family members who have been talking about these decisions, but we are trying. But anyway, now with all of that Exe Files stuff out of the way, we can move on before I start shedding tears or something. But that basically includes all the major content bits, just Minecraft and Exe Files. And now we can move on to social media. We can talk about just basic social media reminders. And to begin that, I just want to remind everybody that we do have a channel Twitter page, and it's linked up there in the channel banner art and about in the About page. Over there, I basically just do like announcements for videos, I just do random crap posting, just stuff like that. So if you guys are interested and you want to see some stuff over there and, maybe like sneak peeks of videos, go check that out. I also announce videos like these, like Pandaren Update, as well as other Let's Talk videos. So if you want to anticipate these videos, or if you just want to go not have to watch Pandaren Update, which for some reason I don't know why you would, and you just want to see the announcements via Twitter, then you can go check over there as well. Once again, I want to just go ahead and address the comment section. Now, this was addressed in Pandaren Update back in June, but I'm going to go ahead and address it again because, well, I just kind of want to address it. As you probably have seen, there is some comments on these videos that are of random people basically saying, you want a partner, you want to do some videos together, you want to be friends on YouTube. I've said it in Pandaren Update in the previous one, I'm going to go ahead and say it again. If I see these comments, I'm just going to delete them the moment I see them. It's not because I don't want to partner with people, I just want to work by myself. If I'm going to make a career out of this is what my plan is to make a career out of YouTube, since I do want to go to college for that graphic design, let's be honest here. If I'm going to make a career out of this, I want to do it by myself, and I want to work for it, you know what I mean? So if I do see those comments, if you want to be partners or you want to be friends, I'm just going to delete them the moment they come into my inbox. Just be wary of that. So comment things like, hey, I enjoyed the video, or like if I say like comment a suggestion of what your favorite episode was, or stuff like that, then just go ahead and comment that, but don't comment random crap because I'm just going to delete it instantly. The final bit of social media bit that I'm probably going to talk about is I just want to say thank you guys for 100 subscribers. You've seen the 100 subscriber special from probably about 2 months ago from now, but just going to go ahead and reiterate it one more time. Thank you guys for 100 subscribers. It does mean a lot. And hopefully we can get some more subscribers coming in, because, everybody loves fans. Myself personally, I'm not crazy on the fan subs, like, do I want 1,000 subscribers? Sure, but am I gonna beg for it? No, because it's weird. But that basically concludes social media stuff, and now I can actually move on to probably a more fun part of this episode, and that is announcements. And as mentioned in the intro of this episode, well, not like the first intro, but the actual Pandaren Update intro, as that I actually only have one major announcement for this episode, but don't worry, it's definitely a good one. And to actually announce this announcement, I'm going to have to ask you guys a question. When you look at all of my videos and you have to sit there and wonder, like, what's your favorite one, do you ever consider which video is a classic? Like, can you watch one of my videos and say, oh yeah, that's a classic, it's a classic video, like, you'll enjoy it? Well, hopefully you at least find some of my videos classic, as this next little mini-series is definitely going to really bring in that home stride of classic. And for that, I'm happily calling this new mini-series the Pandaren Quadruple Classic. So, what exactly is it? Because that's a very long title for something that makes no sense. Well, the Pandaren Quadruple Classic is a 4-episode mini-series, because again, mini-series. The series will span over the course of the remainder of the year in 4 episodes, And basically, it's built similarly, wow, English. It's built similar to how Panda's Lost Episodes is built, remastering some of my classic videos and bringing them all to the modern age. So you can definitely see where Pandaren Quadruple Classic gets its inspiration from. Mostly through Panda's Lost Episodes. Mostly. So in that case, I have a listing of some of the videos here that I'll mention here in a moment, but I just want to talk about some basic upload schedules and, stuff like that. As of right now, the Pandaren Quadruple Classic is planned to go up on the second Wednesday of each month, so it's only going to premiere once per month. The dates of which, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell them now. The first episode will be on September 9th, so that will be next week, exactly 1 week from now, so be ready for that one. The next episode will be on October 14th, the third episode on November 11th, and the fourth and final episode on December 9th. So remember, that's every second Wednesday, so not the first Wednesday of each month, it's the second one. Very easy way to remember. The videos in which are actual classic is basically kind of similar to how I chose the Universal 5. If you've seen Let's Talk After the Show for that, for Universal 5, you'll know I sort everything by most popular, pick what I think is enjoyable and what I want to remaster. Same thing here, except I sorted by my oldest videos and picked some videos that I think are classics, ones that did very well for their time, and ones that I want to bring into the modern era. And the 4 videos I've chosen, which I'm going to go ahead and say right now, these include the original Left 4 Dead Achievement Guide videos, the destruction montages from Universe Sandbox, Are We Alone in the Universe, a space commentary, which my grandmother actually really liked, so shoutouts, and How to Build a Radio Station of MC3 Radio. So those are the 4 major videos. They're going to premiere once per month on the second Wednesday of each month. They're basically going to be scripted because, as you can probably already tell, the Pandaren Quadruple Classic is a scripted series, much like Mod Gear and the Universal 5. You get the idea. Mainly, the Pandaren Quadruple Classic is going to run very similarly to how Panda's Lost Episodes did, starting with the normal intro, getting into the remastered content, and then ending on a simple outro. Pretty straightforward. As of right now, this is mostly designed like this mainly just because time. Again, this is one of those really weird first semesters for a school year where it's kind of at random, and I want to make sure that Pandaren Quadruple Classic is simple, but not so simple enough to where it feels too easy to make, if that makes sense. Also to note, similarly to the Universal 5, the Pandaren Quadruple Classic will also have a Let's Talk After the Show after it ends, which is probably going to be, if I remember the dates right, it's supposed to be December 14th, so the week following the final episode. That'll go over the original development, that'll go over all of the episode development and the future of the show. Pretty self-explanatory. There's not a lot to talk about here because, it's Pandaren Quadruple Classic. It's not a big deal series, but again, the series will kickstart next week on Wednesday, September 9th, and then you'll have your 3 other episodes on October 14th, November 11th, and December 9th. So that's one of the biggest reasons why, when we get into scheduling here in just a few moments, that it's going to be really weird. Let me just grab my script quick. Because, scripts. Alright. And now we get to probably the last piece of actual little content for this Pandaren update, and that is scheduling. Now, for the most part, scheduling is not going to be something that's going to be prominent in all Pandaren updates, but specifically for this particular Pandaren update, it's coming in the first place because of just how these next few months are going to roll out. As mentioned, with the cancellation of E.X.E files, the next few months in terms of scheduling are going to be very, very light. As of right now, the scheduling says that for September, 6 videos are going out. October is going to have 5 videos, so October being the smallest month on record for the year so far, which is really shocking. November will be clocking in at 6 episodes, and then December will be clocking at 10. I'll get to December in a minute as to why, but let's go ahead and start with the basics. As far as September goes, you'll be seeing things like mini-games and challenges and build tutorials and stuff like that. Pretty self-explanatory. Minecraft's content is going to be uploading at the exact same schedule it's been going since June. So you'll have your challenge video, followed by your building tutorial, then a minigame, then your building tutorial, and then it'll reset again. It'll continue doing that all the way until December 7th, with Minecraft comes to its end. In October, same stuff, and I'm pretty sure we all know the upload schedule, but I'm just going to reiterate it. Minecraft will be premiering as the same in October, as well as November, and the Pandaren Quadruple Classic will be premiering on October 14th and November 11th, respectively, for each month. And now I get to December, because December is going to be the more in-depth one. So I'm just going to be going a little bit of a listing here just to show you what episodes are going to be going out in which order. So December should kick off on December 7th with the final Minecraft video of the year. It's going to be a building tutorial. That will go out. Following that, on December 9th, will be the final episode of the Pandaren Quadruple Classic. Immediately following that, in the same week, on Friday, December 11th, Let's Talk After the Show for Minecraft should premiere on that Friday to go over the entire development process of Minecraft and stuff like that. The week following, on Monday, December 14th, most likely Let's Talk After the Show for the Pandaren Quadruple Classic will probably go out then discussing all about that. Okay, well if that's 4 episodes, then where's the other 6? Well, that's when we're going to fast forward a little bit of a week, a little bit ahead of December 14th. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, you probably know that if you've been around with the channel, in December of 2019, we announced these trailers. Trailers that helped announce things like Mod Gear Season 2 and Panda's Lost Episodes and the now cancelled E.X.E files. December of this year is also going to follow the exact same format, with 4 trailers helping to show off and basically announce all of the new forms of content that are going to be coming out in 2021. These 4 trailers are set to premiere on December 18th, December 19th, December 20th, and December 21st. So on a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, and a Monday. So I'm not going to go ahead and tell you what these trailers are because then I would ruin the surprise, but just be aware all 4 of them are going to premiere within a 4-day span and they're going to come really fast. So just be ready for them. After this, that's 8 videos of the month. Pandaren Update, which is the next one, Pandaren Update number 6, is set to premiere on Christmas Day, on December 25th. That Pandaren Update is going to be going over the last major video of the year, which I'll get to here in a moment, and we'll also be discussing what the first 3 months of 2021 are going to be looking like. And you'll definitely see what kind of content's going to be coming with those trailers that release in December. But Pandaren Update in December is also going to help elaborate on those trailers and explain as to what the start of next year is going to look like. So in that case, that's 9 total videos planned. So what's the 10th and last video? The final video for December and the final video of the year is set to be a best of 2020 montage. Pretty much just combining every video that we've made this year into one giant funny moments montage. I have no idea how long it might be. It could be an hour long, it could be 2 hours long, but the point is I figure I may as well close out the year with a best of montage, just to make sure that, we had a good year. And let's be completely fair right here, as of right now, this has probably been one of the best years this channel has ever had, so let's keep it going, let's make it happen. But with that basically concludes all of the scheduling. It's very light over the course of September and October and November, because quite literally the channel is entering what I'm calling the quiet period. It's a section of the channel's life where not a lot of content's going up, and for the most part we'll only be uploading once a week for most of the time until December gets here. So just be wary, content's going to get very slow after this week, and whenever Pandaren Quadruple Classic isn't premiering, content's going to be very slow. So just be wary of that, because, a lot of stuff has happened. But with that basically is a wrap. So let's just go ahead and review what we covered. Let me just grab the script again, because, it's a script. So let's just review what we went over. We went over all of the basics of Minecraft, discussing the number of videos that you'll be seeing over the course of the next 3 months, and explaining when Minecraft will end along with its Let's Talk After the Show, and explaining that no major schedule changes are coming to Minecraft content, and that you'll be running as perfectly normal. We also discussed the cancellation of E.X.E files, that the show just needed way more time, and it's not possible to be made by a solo content creator. And again, very sorry to have to cancel the show, but it's just the right thing. It honestly is the right thing to do because I don't want to have E.X.E files premiere in the state that it was in. We also went over some brief reminders about social media, just recapping on Twitter, recapping on addressing the comment section, just be watching you YouTube scammers. And also just re-thank you guys for 100 subscribers, you guys are amazing. We also announced our brand new mini-series, the Pandaren Quadruple Classic, which will be premiering on the second Wednesday of each month for 4 episodes total. Honestly, I'm really excited to premiere this series, so I'm hoping you guys enjoy it when it launches next week. And we also just went over some basic scheduling, just discussing how September and October, November are going to run, especially December a bit more in depth, because December is probably going to be one of the last big months of the year. But I'm going to admit it, guys. This is probably one of those Pandaren updates that I'm actually kind of depressed about. EXE Files was hyped, man, for such a long time, and the fact that I had to cancel it is... It hits hard in the soul, let's be honest, but... Who knows, maybe EXE Files will return sooner, but when EXE Files does return, maybe not in the future, but maybe a couple years down the line, you better believe that EXE Files is going to come back with a bang. But, anyway, that is going to conclude this Pandaren update. If you've enjoyed all the new announcements and, whatever the heck you enjoyed about these videos, then make sure you leave a like on the video and comment, what your favorite things were and, stuff like that. Like, I don't really know how to respond because, there's a cancellation of a series here. How am I supposed to make a good comment about that? Like, come on. But that's going to conclude this video. My name is PandaPowerSauce. Remember to stay saucy, and we'll see you again very soon. Later.